Anyways, let's get into the series itself. IG are going to be on the blue side. They have banned away the Nocturne throwback. Ooh. I'm glad I went and found that clip.
Nice.
It's going to be towards Aki, though. Aki's a Nocturne.
No. Mazel, that's a Doinb ban. Game 1, he's earning Nocturne mid-respect bans, okay?
The Callista, the Rumble, the Skarner are going to be bans on NIP's side, on red side. Viktor first pick. How powerful this champion has been in the recent meta can't be understated, at least.
No, definitely not. And I think that coming into this now with Varus already picked up, something like a Wukong maybe for the jungle just to keep things nice and easy. Or you can match mid lane if Doinb's feeling particularly brazen, knows what he wants versus the Viktor. Something along the lines of a Galio wouldn't go amiss. Something that has been rising quite significantly playing versus those AP solo laners. But, yeah, there you go. Take the second best jungler on the patch. For me, that is just the case that Skarner's gone, and we've seen Vi and Nocturne taken away as well. But the Wukong's certainly that next S-tier pick in the jungle.
And Aki is classically a pretty decent Wukong, so glad to see him get a little bit of fighting strength behind him, because we said it earlier, and we'll mention it multiple times. He's a bit of an undercurrent that needs to be strong here in this series, because Jiejie will absolutely control and dominate the jungle if he's just let to. Speaking of, Jiejie will get the Xin Zhao, a very skirmish-heavy jungler, to kind of fight some of that fighting power that the Wukong is bringing to the table for NIP.
And certainly one of the things that can punish a Varus as well, right? Your Wind Becomes Lightning matches the range of a Varus quite nicely, so if he stops to auto-attack, you've got time to line up your W in the early phases. That then leads you into being able to dash on him, get that knock-up, take down, leave in this instance. So should be a pick that is going to be very well regarded for IG.
Specifically leave.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Believe one and only. Just because junglers focus AD carries, no other reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the Ksante gets locked in for TheShy to just be that blind pick into the top lane.
So, into the second phase, we're going to see if maybe NIP want to focus his bot lane a little bit more towards Gala and Meiko. If we maybe get some of the support pool banned away, because I think that could be super important when you're looking at Meiko specifically. There's a couple big ADCs still on the table. I'm glad that they get the Ashe off of there, because Gala is a sniper when it comes to the Enchanted Crystal Arrows.
Yeah, he'll find you cross map, close range. Doesn't really matter where you're going. It's a Gala show if he gets the Ashe, and that's not something that NIP particularly need to deal with. I wouldn't expect any more AD carry bans. I think, like you quite rightly mentioned, that Meiko should be looking to that support role. For IG, though, they're still looking at a top laner and a support, so they're probably going to take away supports if there's anything that they're particularly planning on. They've also got the option here of saying, wow, Gwen, let's say, really destroys Ksante in a 1v1. I don't want to play that matchup. Let's ban that champion now.
Would be nice, actually. I think Shanji's absolutely willing to take that matchup as well. The Poppy ban towards potential flexibility here. I like that as well. We'll see what the final ban is going to be by IG, but I actually would like a little bit of resource given to TheShy in terms of a ban towards his matchups, because I think Shanji could have a lot of fun there. We do still have some flexibility with the Akali if things come down to it now, but I really want to see how Doinb, and first of all, if it's not going to be the Akali mid against the Viktor, is going to work with this Viktor matchup for rookie.
Yeah, and like you say, right, it could still very easily be Akali in that top lane. It's not something we've seen for a while, but it's a flex that exists if you fancy it. We'll have to keep our eyes on that. And this Moakai doesn't tell us one way or the other. If it gets locked in, still something that can be flexed around the NIP side. And when you're talking about those bans sort of focusing out Shanji and what we would have liked to have seen from IG, it's really important, because this NIP top laner is somebody who that laning phase had previously been a little bit of a struggle for, and versus TheShy, where he's typically very good in that laning phase, throwing some resources the way of the top lane could have been very beneficial for IG.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be a classic support matchup, though. We get the misfortune for Gala, then logging into Leona for Meiko, and then the Braum is there for ppgod. So a lot of team fight potential on NIP's side, but as well as IG's.
Yeah, I mean, IG have got lots of components for their early game, but then a nice round out to their late game as well. Xin Zhao, Misfortune, Leona, you're not fighting that 3v3 no matter what you try and draft. So IG, early on, they've got tools to play around. But late game, I've got Rookie on Viktor. I've got TheShy on Ksante. Wow. This looks like a nicely well-rounded team composition that IG have drafted for themselves. They've got bridges to get them to the late game, and they've got some really solid pieces as they move into that late game as well. Equally, a lot of onus on ppgod this game as that Braum to try an emphasis on the word try, and keep his backline safe, because it's not going to be easy. First of all, he's got to use the shield to get rid of the misfortune ulti. He's then got to walk around, try and tag all of the divers that are on the enemy team, and somehow be able to do that while Ksante can be unstoppable twice, and the Xin Zhao can immune things that are outside of 500 units.
I think it's gonna be a tall task, but you know. ppgod's gonna be stacked up against it. That 2v2 maybe taking a little bit of a back seat. I feel like if for some reason I'm getting a feeling, instincts of, you know, ppgod and Meiko definitely looking outside of the lane itself. But I really want to see IG play to their early game strengths in some regard and try to change the map setup a little bit. Now, another thing that we've been seeing a lot commonly is the lane swap setups here. So if both teams are going to be willing to go with something like that, could change things in that way.
The LPL has fully resorted to Australia lanes. It's not
They
just
really
something.
have. They really
It's not something that is now just, oh, wow, what a surprise. We're seeing teams move one carry into the top side. It's just that bot lanes are laning top, and that's the way it is. Period. So we'll have to see whether or not IG and NIP are matching that energy for game number 1.
And we're getting into it now. You hear the Jiejie going live. As Rookie said, we're here to bring back glory to that star on our chest. IG's got their boys back home, and they're looking for a run in 2025. Those Jiejie so ridiculously loud for IG. And now we get into it, and we saw a little bit of scuffle early, but there wasn't much there. And we'll just get a nice little line of scrimmage.
Gentlemanly grasp procs, I think, is what they'd call that. Let's just go and give each other a couple of extra little bits of HP, pad the stats maybe a little bit more. But for the time being, though, Mazel, I may have spoke too soon, because bot laners are in the bot lane, and I'm now confused.
It's different.
Not something that we've seen for a little bit of time, but I'm not against it, and I quite like the idea of Varus Braum versus this Leona Misfortune matchup, to be honest.
Okay.
The Varus has a little bit of extra range versus the Misfortune early on, so an opportunity for spacing there. If the Leona tries to engage, Braum has a really good way of keeping her locked up. So really nice to see that they're willing to buy into this 2 versus 2, and as you can already see, looking to put a little bit of pressure down in it.
They are at least trying to keep them off that wave. Level 2 in this lane, oh so important. Also taking a look at the junglers, I talked about maybe not looking at bot lane here, but both junglers are going to be pathing down towards bot lane. So who do I know? What do I know?
Yes, our eyes then want to be on Jiejie to see if he skips any camps and tries to cheat tempo to get down here a little bit sooner, because those wards haven't gone into the tri-brush just yet. There's not a pressure to do it so early, but there is a world where Jiejie can try and find 3 camps, walk straight down to that bot side, and I feel like we're going to start to see that respect from NIP relatively soon. Their wave's under the turret. Let's see if they can try and put a ward down and snuff out any of the Xin Zhao's plans early on.
Aki gladly spotted transitioning towards this bot side as well. No real finickiness in the lanes. I want to talk about this mid lane a little bit more, not only because it's Rookie versus Doinb, and that's going to be a major focus of the night here, but the Viktor into the Akali. I mean, it's a Doinb classic for sure. What do you feel like about this matchup itself?
This feels like a quintessential Akali versus mage mid lane, where you have to struggle for the early phases. Once you reach level 6, you feel pretty confident, and you can start to begin the zoning of the enemy control mage, where you've got that all-in presence. Viktor, such a champion that relies on being able to catch out immobile targets, right, with his gravity well, with the Chaos Storm. Akali has 3 different dashes that she can use, so getting out of them tends to be relatively easy, and it means that getting damage down on the Akali for Rookie can be pretty difficult, and it augments your build almost if you're building for this 1 versus 1 to be a lot more burst oriented than those DPS items. So things like Blackfire Torch, not as prevalent because they're built on consistently applying damage, whereas if we go for something like the Ludens, it can be quick, snappy, and able to do that damage before Doinb is actually dashing out of anything.
Yeah, it's always a back and forth nature in any matchup, it feels like, for Akali, but especially in these matchups as well. Also, our producer Camcom just let me know, and a huge downtime moment here. We have hit our follower goal of 12,000 followers on Twitch. A huge shout out to everyone that's been coming by the stream, that's been enjoying our unofficial coverage of the LPL. It is a pleasure to do this, and thank you all for loving what we're doing, because we love it too.
Thank you so much. this is a joy now that we're getting to bring this to so many people, and welcome to all of our new faces, all of our new followers. The project getting brought to you by a load of passionate fans as well.
And now we get to follow those passionate fans into a passionate match and get to deliver a little bit of the storylines here, because after a little bit of the smoke clear, after the reset came through, this might be the first time that we didn't get any action on the first clear of jungle, which I'm a little sad about. Oh, but here we go. They've got us on bot lane. They're looking for the concussive blow. Oh, goodness. Look away and you miss it. That concussive blows combo at the piercing arrow. Get first blood for NIP.
Perfect from Leave. Cleanses the stun from Meiko, snaps an auto attack onto Gala, and procs the blight stacks with a rapid fire Q before Gala uses flash or cleanse. The split second reactions from Leave there, netting first blood, and we can see now why NIP was so willing to opt into this 2 versus 2. See, the replay starts out with this slow, and again, credit to ppgod, looks for it, cleanse on the auto attack, and then it's auto for the stun into the piercing arrow. Exceptional play from the bot lane.
We talked about it earlier. This guy was lauded as a prospect coming out of the EDG youth system, but never got his legs under him. And now you see a little bit of that mechanical prowess coming through. Why they wanted to build this player up, as we were looking at a full-on gank mid lane, getting ready for the grub spawn here. They go ahead and bring Leave and ppgod to the top side of the map.
Now you'll expect to see the recall come through from Doinb. Somebody has to catch that bot wave with no TPs. Not quite certain who's going to go down there. They might just end up forfeiting it and looking to try and take a 5 versus 4 on this top side. Secure grubs for Drake, so this gives Gala a little bit of free time, but it's only going to neutralize the disadvantage he found himself in earlier on.
Not much to say. Oh my goodness, they're just going to keep the pressure mid lane as well. Leave on this Varus, a very sought-after pick in the meta right now, providing so much pressure.
And you can see the tier 2 boots as well. The early pickup for Leave suggests that you can move around the rift a lot more. So moving up to this top side to secure these grubs, taking this mid lane, it's going to be easy now to go back to base, finish that vamp set, to now walk back down to that bot side and have that mobility on Summoner's Rift quite easily.
Ooh, they got a little plan cooking here. They are surrounded, but they don't know that, and neither does IG.
Oh, rookie.
Oh, rookie step past the ward. Now Leave and ppgod stop their back. They don't have Chains of Corruption. They don't have level 6, but they're going to get Rookie's flash. They still look for that piercing arrow combo. They've been lethal with that so far, and they'll stay present mid lane.
So, only a flash burn from rookie, which can be very big, especially in the 1 versus an Akali. You can use that flash quite significantly, or quite well rather, to keep yourself alive. Without that tool, I would love to see that get punished.
5 years since we've gotten Moakai top lane. Chalitza was the last one in 2020. 1,600 days ago. That's crazy. Well, Shanji doing Lord's work, I guess. Bringing back all the old picks. Speaking of, though, I do actually think Moakai brings a lot to the table later on for this comp. I think in general the utility Moakai brings is why we've been seeing him so much in the meta. But if Shanji can survive and do okay, I think he might actually have a good angle later.
I mean, tank items as well are just obnoxious. They are so strong that Moakai, constant healing with his passive as well. There's a very good reason that we're seeing, or should see Moakai, I should say, return to this top lane. I'm glad to see Shanji beginning it.
Beginning of the beginning. Now they go back mid lane. They know Rookie doesn't have flash. He burns his Chaos Storm, but he goes down instantaneously, and that is the lethality of an Akali in mid lane. Now Meiko gets concussive blowed, hit by the piercing arrow. Bullet time coming out. No more Unbreakable, and Leave just gets the kill. Flashes out. Concussive. Whoa! Oh my god! Leave is styling on them.
2 versus 2. That is the 3rd kill that this bot lane have got, and it's the 4th one they've set up for their team. Coming out on top, incredible performance by this duo. They were touted as going to be the weaker links in this bot side. Gala and Meiko expected to come out on top. They picked this heavy early game bot lane composition, and it is not working out.
That is insane. It's the micro movements that mean so much. I mean, this guy is so damn mechanically good, and he's showing it off in the 2v2 against some of the best in the league in its history. Now we're looking at top lane. ppgod and Leave are just on a roll here. Looking over here onto TheShy. They get the slowdown from the Bramble Smash. Concussive blows. One more. There's Winter's Bite to lock him down, but Leave can't get in distance. But they still make their presence known topside.
Okay, and all of a sudden, this bot lane duo for NIP making a statement in game number 1. Let's get a replay then how all this broke out. It's just an initial opening with a Winter's Bite, and when they're so far ahead, they have every right to try and punish this. I like the idea that as soon as the Unbreakable goes down, we'll go forward. Unfortunately, the flash in, straight into a Winter's Bite, and the CC from ppgod knocks him up as well. The double up just not quite enough. Yeah.
Unfortunate there, as just really, really nice plays combos by Leave and ppgod. Giving some strength to this NIP roster. 4-0 in the lead right now for them. Now Meiko's going for Leave. Lead side steps, gets hit by the Zenith Blade. Now TheShy is here, and unfortunately you're an ADC in a top laner's world. Now TheShy actually split focus, went on a ppgod, so Jiejie finished off Leave, and that's a little bit of revenge served cold for you.
Nice to see that IG are also capitalizing on these flashless targets. This time it's NIP who end up falling and Leave. That big shutdown, that bounty going the way of Jiejie. Certainly the type of area that you'd want it given the players around the map, right? You've got TheShy, Meiko and Jiejie all in that position. I'm giving my goal to the Zhao every day of the week. Begin that snowball, because otherwise NIP would have been more than happy to start running away with this. The grubs have now spawned and NIP want them.
Jiejie gonna take the first one. That's smite away. This does mean the last two are probably going to NIP unless they want to contest for this. They don't seemingly have the bodies in the area. TheShy came down, but he needs to back away. TP came in from Doinb as well, so they just have bodies aplenty. All 5 from NIP here to secure 5 grubs for themselves.
I guess the small thing that's good for IG there is that they deny that stack on the feet for objectives by taking away one of those grubs. It means that neither side is going to get a mark on their belt for that. But obviously, First Blood already went the way of NIP, so they can either take first turret or continue their objective control. Currently 1-to-1 on those with a Drake and a set of Void Grubs going to either side.
Pretty nice in terms of the feats of strength so far. It looks like we might have it contested. Speaking of, we haven't gotten to talk too much about those Rift changes. It is still in the kind of first week and a half, so we can talk about them as well. But the feats of strength important to fight for early. First blood, first turret, and first 3 epic monsters. Very, very crucial to kind of keep track of those things early on.
Sorry, I have played all too much League of Legends the last week. So
yeah, you have. You've been styling, man. Now look at you.
No. We don't. When we're talking about the LPL lane, and these guys are the real stars, okay? They're obviously a lot more familiar, but for all of our sort of, okay, I'm picking back into season 15 it is. It's good to break down what those feats of strength are and what the new additions are going to be. So, 20 minutes Baron spawns, right? So we can get more familiar at 20 minutes for the new people.
True. No,
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Thing.
No, we can't.
Yeah, we can't do that. So Baron spawns at 25 minutes, which honestly is so wild to me in terms of what it does for the pacing of the LPL. But Atakan will be extremely important to keep an eye on, as we'll be getting that in 14 minutes. Now, the fact of the matter is we got TPs coming out. There's a lot of presence on bot side right now, but there's an invade from Jiejie on top side with an entire side of camps to be done against Aki here. He's stealing the red. A little bit of macro movements from IG.
Yeah, and just the small things that we see from IG that'll help them claw their way back into this game, because they are at a disadvantage. It comes from that bot lane, don't get me wrong. The rest of the map not feeling too hard done by, but they need to do something to be able to deal with this Varus. The bot lane has fallen flat. The Misfortune Leona lane not quite had its desired effect, and that is going to make the mid and late game really tricky for Gala. Because when you fall behind on this Misfortune, your entire game plan just becomes try to ulti efficiently. And if that's not possible, you really, really struggle to find good DPS in these team fights.
Yeah, you really can. I think playing with that range factor as well is going to be super, super crucial. We will have the Rift Herald coming up rather shortly here in about 2 minutes, so trying to figure out how they can get ready for that. But another big thing is we have first items that are already completed for majority members here. Was the Bloodthirster completed first for Gala, so a little bit of sustainability there. But the Blade of the Rune King, obviously that on-hit build we were seeing being built for Leave.
Okay, and I love that moving into the late game, especially for Leave, especially versus a Ksante as well and a Leona. You do just need that consistent DPS to try and churn through and make sure that you're the one that can deal with TheShy, because we're looking at the rest of the tank shred capability on NIP. Akali's not a tank killer. Wukong, maybe a little bit with the crushing blows, but his focus is going to be Gala and Rookie in the late stages, so it's going to be on Leave to make sure that that Ksante isn't tearing up through them in the late game.
And it's up to TheShy not to get caught in sideline. But that's a question for another time, for later down the road. And
one of those concerns, I suppose, that we had coming into this series was whether Shanji would at least be able to hold his own in this laning phase up against TheShy. So far, been down 500 gold, but hasn't lost effect, or hasn't lost ungracefully, let's say. Has been losing quietly in that side lane and isn't creating a massive problem for his team to try and deal with. A 600 gold advantage on Ksante, something that's very manageable, and at least our checks for game number 1, Shanji passing them.
I'm perfectly okay with that as well. A guy that has had some serious strengths in the LPL, not only bringing finicky picks, but for that OMG roster being such an anchor for them all those years ago. Now on NIP, trying to be the same on the Moakai. They are looking all mid here, as Gala and Leave will be in the vicinity. Leave still up a tremendous amount of gold over Gala. And there will be the setup around this mid lane to get ready potentially for the Rift Herald take. But Rookie's been just chilling in side lane, man. He's not bothered at all.
No, and quietly just farming his way up through those evolutions. Probably sat on his second upgrade already at this point. Looking for 4 out of 4, obviously, before the glorious evolution comes through on the ultimate. And I think that you really start to feel good when you reach that 3rd evolution. Having a slow on all of your abilities, the way they reworked Viktor was that they moved the slow from upgrading each individual spell to being able to upgrade the W. So that's something that you can really look towards as 3rd evolution. You get a very mini Rylai's effect, and you're able to start chasing people down, kiting them out a lot more efficiently.
Man, I'm just looking around at the faces on the screen. How many timers do you think Doinb has typed into the chat so far?
Well, at the minute, there's been no fighting for the last 5 minutes, so if he has any, he's trolling.
But he does it all the time. He literally just does it all the time. I remember there was like that story where he got banned from solo queue because he got reported for spamming or something like that. The bot like caught him. It was absolutely hilarious. This guy, I was watching him in Legends Cup, and he is just so fluid with his. He's just completely always typing. He's pinging. He's very vocal with the team. I wonder if that's changed at all, because he was obviously in like kind of a leading position in Legends Cup because he was the captain. But I hope that some of that kind of communication has stayed there for Doinb.
Oh, he fancies a 1v1 though. Misses the shuriken.
It's fine. He still goes for it. Okay, perfect execution out. Chaos Storm got used.
Trade for ulti, but as soon as that E goes wide, Doinb knows, yep, I don't have lethal.
Oh, Chains of Corruption went a little bit wide on the Jiejie. They did get the concussive blows started up there, but not going to follow through with it. Dragon is coming up, a turret taken by Rookie. So now we're getting a little bit spicy with the feats of strength here as we go forward.
Okay, so IG also making their way up towards this Rift Herald. This will be their 2nd feat of strength if they're able to pick this up for the marker out of 3 neutral objectives. But TP's coming in. NIP, they fancy themselves something.
I think they get the feats of strength because they have the 3 grubs, the 1 dragon.
Now
they're looking for the fight afterwards as well. There you go. Glacial Fisher out, and Shanji goes straight in.
Meiko's
this
gone.
Moakai is providing so much spacing against the team. TheShy is in the middle of it all. Bullet time going a little bit wide there, though. Leave gets Ksante straight in the middle of his team. What is TheShy? Welcome back, big bro, because he's stunting on him. He's still alive, and he's still kicking. Rookie has showed up, too, and it's the superstar team. But Doinb, Dr. Doinb, he's looking for it. He gets one, but gets taken down. Unfortunately, they just had too much money back in the Avengers here, and it's going to be an objective and a team fight win for IG.
The triple carry threat from IG reigns supreme. TheShy by so much time on this Rift Herald, barely going down in the end. They're forcing Doinb in, commits his life and ends up falling. IG come away with 4 kills. They come away with the Herald. And in a fight that started looking like NIP should be feeling confident, Leave flashes away very early here from a Zhao W that might have been able to be sort of tanked up. But TheShy, in the midst, he's tanking. Is this 4 people at the minute? Where he's just constantly kiting them out, staying alive, and applying threat as well. Double knockups coming through. The combo between Jiejie and TheShy, exceptionally played. And the Omnivamp, all too potent. And once that Varus goes down, the damage from NIP is just so situational, so dependent on Doinb, who's focusing the tank of all people. There's not enough left in the tank for them, and they cannot find the damage they need.
Yeah, that perfect execution, a little bit unfortunate, but just really wanted to get TheShy, you know. Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. Now IG with a steady lead. Rookie is cooking it up on the Viktor. We have another dragon up on the table here as well.
So we're now, first turret, we're 2 for 2 now on those feats of strength, so this Drake fight is going to be very important.
Okay, Meiko gets caught. They go for the solar flare, right back to it. Bullet time coming out as the Unbreakable is still up. They get Leave anyway. Dude, Jiejie has a heat-seeking missile for Leave. In that team fight, he's the one that got the kill. In this fight, he's the one that takes him down.
And just a small misexecution there from the NIP bot lane, something that we've not been expecting from them this game. But ppgod stepping just a bit too far from Leave as he tanks up all too much of that bullet storm. Oh, and then also Jiejie finishing off that kill. Now the first turret for IG falls in the mid lane. They move into the second turret as well for that tier 2. And slowly, Mazel, this game's starting to feel like it could be starting to slide away from NIP's grasp.
And unfortunately, that's the quintessential experience with Leave, his laning phase. He's got all the mechanics out the wazoo. It's incredible to watch this guy cook in the lane. But then some of the decisions, some of the pathing, some of the moments outside of lane have come back to bite him, and why he hasn't been able to find stable ground to stand on since coming back into the LPL. Now, we do have IG with a significant gold advantage coming back out onto the map. Rookie has second item. Everybody has second item except for Meiko. And Dragon is up and available. They're looking to go down here. There's some pings from Aki to try to contest.
And I think that that's going to be very difficult, honestly, for NIP. Talk about those second items. They are sorely lacking on the NIP solo laner side. We've got, you know, a fully stacked tier for Shanji, great. But if NIP walk in, they're going to need to protect Leave at all costs. There goes the advance.
There you go. So, try to get through a little bit more. There's about half health on the Dragon. Now Jiejie was actually looking for a win to come lighting. Look at Rookie! He's a little bit too far, but he goes golden while the Chaos Storm is there, so he is just untouched while they are just burning down the team. There's an all-out from TheShy, and he wants to end Doinb's life too. He's just going to start running at him, and that's a double kill for Jiejie. Rookie going down bot lane with the rest of his team to clean house on Aki, so there is no potential steal. They get the Dragon, they get the feats, they get the kills, and now they're up almost 6,000 gold.
Yeah, caught between a 4-man and a glorious evolution. Leave really stood no chance at trying to make his way out of that one, and NIP starting to crumble. IG just collapse beautifully on that fight. And before Leave on NIP even felt like feeling he could do anything, it was all too late. The Drake secured, those feats of strength finally being claimed. 23 minutes in feels like maybe the latest that we've seen from any of them for a while, but regardless, IG firmly in control now of game 1.
It is truly incredible to see some of the breakdowns coming through from IG in terms of where they decide to go all in, where they have their kind of playmaking potential. And even if we talk about Rookie, we talk about TheShy so much in this series, Jiejie deserves such a heavy praise as we take a look back at this replay. Rookie's flank.
Oh, yeah, he's just come from a perfect angle and drops the ulti, drops the stasis, so there is just nothing to be done. And that entire collapse, sometimes you'll think, okay, we can fall on the weak side of their pincer. Unfortunately, Rookie was all too strong, and there was no way they were going to cut through that.
He didn't even have the upgraded ulti, so it didn't even get bigger. He was just going at it. I'm sure he'll be close to it now. Yeah. So
he's
next time
he's got no stacks over his little over the tooltip, so he's fully stocked up and ready. And yes, we are going to see one mighty big ultimate, I'm sensing, at some stage this game.
So Ben talked about it from their series the other day, but Atacon just feels like it fits to a T the LPL's playstyle. Here comes the Nature's Grasp. Coming across onto Meiko, hits onto multiple targets. Now TheShy is about another play. Instantly, NIP are terrified. They are in the middle of the Gravity Well as well as the Chaos Storm, and now they just take the engage instead. Doinb finds the big pick there onto Gala. Jiejie still fighting him out. Jiejie is 7-0, looking for more, and Meiko still alive. Finally gets taken down by Aki. Rookie still cooking him here with TheShy, and welcome back, your World Championship bros. It feels real good to be back together and back home with IG. Doinb, Dr. Doom. I don't think he can do anything. He's got the shuriken flip, and he goes golden just in time. Not like in 2022. Not like those devastating moments that Doinb had presented to Rookie. He's still alive. He's still kicking, and the Avengers are alive and well.
Say what you will about this team, but Rookie in particular. Glorious team fights throughout this entire game, and that Zhonya's Hourglass has had so much value, keeping himself alive time after time, used to perfection. That was as good a fight as NIP were going to get. They burned Gala's flash, they stopped his ulti near instantly. Aki and Doinb played perfectly to take down Gala. Look at how well this Misfortune is zoned out and isolated. Aki in particular has a stunning team fight here. Knocked up instantly off of the bullet time. Gala flashes away, can't do anything. The sync up between the mid jungle looks beautiful. The Chaos Storm wears out without even finding a reset. But Rookie is left untouched. Leave is absolutely brutalized between Jiejie and TheShy, perfectly toggling their health bars to know who needs to tank and who can't. And then all of a sudden, it just goes from bad to worse. Rookie constantly alive, constantly kicking, and the stasis once again baiting in Doinb. Root up once more. Able to get away now with this Atacon buff. IG moving into this top side. I'm not sure if we've lost Mazel. I'm going to do my best to coax us through these, what could very well be closing moments, as IG now with this fake death, the faux guardian angel, should be looking to dive as best as possible, take all the objectives that they can. They don't need the Baron to break open this base, and any fight will be a good one. Shanji calls the fight. They go forward, but nothing yet to be found, as Doinb, again, just weaving a little bit here. That chain of corruption, not going to root up anybody other than Jiejie. Little bits of poke from Rookie coming through. Eyes need to be on Leave as that DPS threat. Doinb as that backline access. Ulti comes through. Leave now focused, taken down by the bullet time. And the rest of the team follow through incredibly. Rookie untouched. Gala untouched. And IG are just running through the base. They have taken down the top inhibitor turret. They have taken down 3 of NIP. And whilst Doinb and Shanji are trying as they might, they just do not have enough in the tank. 4-4-0, and the inhibitor turret under fire. IG break open their base and should be sure to take home the game. In fact, call it off. Doinb enough of a presence, but they barely make it in. Lennon, welcome back.
I'm back. I think I'm back at least. Discord's being real weird. I think my internet's dying. But I'm back, and I see that not many things have changed, and now they're about a 10,000 gold lead up for IG.
So, you know what, Lennon? You can have the honors of the replay here, as they basically just had fake death. They had that Atacon buff.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was talking about. Like, Bid was saying that it's just so powerful, especially when you're in an advantageous position. You just take it and you take the fight no matter what, because especially with the TP setups, you literally can come right back to the fight and you were only worth 100 gold. It is so devastatingly powerful, and it just propels a lead that you already got into even more.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, that fight was a very good use of Atacon, I will say. That's the type of thing that you're looking for. where you can just throw your life away if you're getting the enemy down as well, because your death timer is 5 seconds. Theirs is at this stage in the game. You know, you're knocking 30 plus. It's such a tempo swing in your favor if you can make the most of it. Gala sort of walk of shames his way over to the dragon, as he was the only person that got withdrawn, I think is the term that they use in the League client. So he, you know, got taken down, had to walk back from the base, and decided that he'll spend his time doing the dragon, whilst the rest of IG focus their attention toward this top side and towards the Baron.
It's hard to press into this jungle, though, I will say. Even with the saplings, even with some of the wards, as soon as they want to turn on you, they can. And that Baron doesn't last very long with Gala and Jiejie at the helm. See if Hockey wants to find an angle here. Rookie's just going to press off Shanji. Pops the gravity well, though, so won't have that CC available. TheShy, though, he's looking for an angle. That big chains of corruption, but it's TheShy blocking the rest of the team. Here comes TP. They go straight in. Doinb is looking to make miracles happen. He goes for Gala. He's got one. He's looking for two. Jiejie still alive. He wants to try to go. Jiejie shuts him down. Sit down, my son, and go back to the Legends Cup, he says, as ppgod run down by TheShy will get the flash over the wall and leave, and ppgod will just succumb to the glorious evolution.
Give this man a team and he will give you a game. Jiejie in that fight, playing beautifully on the edge of the Xin Zhao's limits, goes back in and takes down the duo. Aki Doinb, who'd been doing so well to take out this backline, they could not manage off that front, and the Xin Zhao reigns supreme.
15-0. The chains of EDG shall not hold you back any longer, Jiejie. It is a glorious moment, and it is a step in the right direction for IG, who start off this best of 5 with a 1-0 victory.
And it wasn't without its troubles, not without some small issues that IG can look to fix going into game number 2. But what they had was an exceptionally playing mid-jungle duo. Rookie throughout that was constantly a presence in the backline that was always almost dancing, it felt like, on NIP, just constantly making a mockery of their dives. And then Jiejie, like you'd mentioned, like we've highlighted so much through that game, it felt like just constantly being a threat, taking out backline and then taking out frontline as well. There was no foe too great for him.
It was so wild how many skirmishes he was just willing to take that worked out for him. And honestly, it was his damage on a lot of the neutral objectives that was making them burn down so fast. Those Sundered Sky first item procs are kind of wild for some of the junglers here now in the meta, but glad to see Jiejie have a strong part to this, at least. And that was also what we talked about going into it, is Aki needs to kind of keep his head above water, because Jiejie will just run the map.
And that didn't feel like Aki wasn't doing his job, I will say, because there were numerous times he's on the Wukong, he takes down Misfortune. Really, that's a good outing, but when you compare it to what Jiejie was doing, he's just taking down not only Leave, but then coming back to take out Aki and able to really put pressure on Doinb as well. There was so much more being given by our IG jungler that it just toppled over in the end.
And I think Leave will be wanting that one back a little bit. The only time we're going to see Varus in this series, it looked so good to start off, literally 4-0. But unfortunately not able to turn things around. So trying to figure out what can work for NIP is super important. I would love to maybe see a little bit more team play oriented style coming out from Doinb and trying to get something synergistic with Aki and the rest of the team. I think I did really like the Akali though. I mean, he was showing off some of the mechanics that we know I love from Doinb, but I hope to see a little bit more cleanliness when it comes to that kind of mid-game setup for them.
Yeah, because we reached that mid-game phase where we're saying, okay, the Akali can start to run over the Viktor now, and that didn't really happen, right? We got to see one attempted side lane play that was a slight flubbed execution from Doinb, and then after that, nothing really ever again. So maybe that was just because he felt like he couldn't fight, or a myriad of other reasons, but something to be looked at for IG in particular, or for NIP, excuse me, in particular, as they move into game number 2. One of the unsung heroes, I feel like, for that game was probably TheShy, because we didn't see him die on a side lane, which means that those... Thank you. That those concerns maybe coming into the split, maybe starting to get a little bit addressed, but also playing the Ksante in the front line exceptionally well, was constantly tanking up as literally as much as he could, and I don't think there were too many deaths in there either, so it's playing the resource of your health as best as possible without actually falling.
And that's why I love the transition from Demacia Cup into the regular season. We get a little taste of what these teams can look like. It's usually very freshly put together. And then we get to see them a couple weeks later, a little bit more scrim practice. I mean, when we know the schedule is ridiculous for those scrims for LPL players. And here we get a little bit more of a well-oiled machine for IG. And it was very evident that they knew what they wanted from the draft. I think Blue Side obviously provides you a lot of strengths, but being able to use those strengths efficiently is so important. And that damage is a little ridiculous, gotta say, for Rookie.
Yeah, I mean, like, more than double Doinb's damage, and almost more than double everybody else on the NIP roster as well. Leave only barely coming close to half. And that was... I honestly, for the first 15 minutes, felt like there was a chance for NIP, but then after that, you can sort of see that gold graph very easily starting to sway one way.
I see a bunch of zeros on their side. That's just not normal. No. They got 1 dragon and 5 grubs, and that was it besides the kills. That is actually insane, and shows, to me, giving a little bit of a track record of what kind of dominance Jiejie usually brings to a team in terms of that objective style, because this is a guy that does have really good sense of, you know, timings for objectives, but as well as control of the priority of lanes and things like that. And his combination with Rookie is going to be something to be very sought after in 2025.
Absolutely, and I think that one of these statistics that actually really speaks to me is actually the kill participation, just pound for pound. Apart from bot lane specifically, IG had more kill participation on all of their rosters or for them, that bot lane. That overall, they're just playing more together, I think, was the important part. And the fact that they grouped up and were able to, you know, take as many of the fights as possible. And maybe that comes from the fact that, you know, when Gala and Meiko weren't a part of it, they were getting 2v2 killed and not really in a good position. But outside of that, a lot of good things for IG, and you can really see that they are starting to piece together those troubles that they may have had from Demacia Cup.
Yeah, they truly are. It's something to kind of keep an eye on, because this roster is looking to be some of the best in the league. And instantly going from a roster that was purely development, that was looking at players that have been in the IG system, to just wiping the slate clean and going for a super team, you've got to have high expectations for them. And I know the players do as well. Now we get to talk about who we think is going to be that MVP. And if Jiejie doesn't get it, he's robbed. So he literally got robbed blind.
I agree. But I've been thwarted by the LPL's deciding time and time again. Rookie is a shoo-in for this one.
He picked Viktor. Arcane is there. His name is Rookie. It's hard to go against it. I don't know.
There are a couple of contributing factors that could lead to Rookie getting this. I'm with you that I do think that Jiejie deserves this MVP.
We're 15-0. The numbers go burr, Roodood.
maybe the numbers will go burr. We'll have to see. I can well believe that they could give it to Rookie, but I would love to see it go to Jiejie.
I could absolutely believe it would go to Rookie. I feel like sometimes the bias of player popularity comes into play there. Like when Flandre got the MVP on that tank chase. That was incredible.
I remember Alex seething when he saw that come up, just absolutely fuming.
He was so salty. But hopefully we'll be getting the MVP votes here pretty soon. I think a lot of conversation will be stemming around Rookie's Viktor. He was very quiet for that early part of the game, but racking up the assists. You don't need kills when you're just playing the long game, I guess. No,
exactly. When he had one early death because they forced the flash the bot lane of NIP forced his flash, and then a really good return, it must be said, from Doinb from Aki to find the kill on the flashless Viktor. But then after that, he built Zhonya's second, and there was a stasis around Dragon. There's 2 stasises topside where he's just doing everything that was needed. I think that his mechanics throughout the game were spot on and knowing exactly what he needed, which might tip the scales, but obviously, you've got Jiejie, who was not just mechanically sound, but macro-wise incredibly sound as well. Didn't really put a foot wrong.
True. And just a little want for next game. I don't want to see Shanji on Moakai. I'm not gonna lie. I want to see him on stuff that can fight. I want to see stuff that's proactive, because I think that's gonna be super important.
Well, the good news is, Mazel, he can't play Moakai. He's banned.
It's the beautiful, beautiful part of the fearless system that we have here in the LPL.
That doesn't mean that he can't play a tank.
Yay, my king!
There we go. Okay,
he was not robbed. He is living dandy. He is perfectly fine. And a 15-0 performance from Jiejie on the Xin Zhao to claim MVP of Game 1.
Really solid. I mean, like we've already highlighted exactly why he should have got this, so I'm very happy that the LPL team also agree. Was exactly the right place, the right time, constantly finding exactly the right targets as well. And, you know, overall, a very, very solid performance. 15-0 and 4. Didn't really put a foot wrong.
Did not. I really want to see what they go for from here. If they play into the confidence or if he goes back to play a little bit more team-focused. Maybe he gets his Poppy. I'm always a big fan of Jiejie's Poppy, but it's an incredible start to the performance for IG, but this is only one game in a best of 5, in a very important best of 5 for Group D. We'll see if NIP can bounce back as well from that one. See if Doinb gets more of the pick of the variety for him in that mid lane as well. But before we go to break, before we get sent off to that game number 2, please remember and be aware of the fact that we're an entirely fan-run broadcast. This is all volunteer. We're produced by passionate individuals who love the LPL just as much as you do. And as such, we have started a Ko-Fi account where you can access and donate to us, where we can pay our production staff, we can get new bells and whistles for the stream, and also pay our broadcast staff. Any donations will go directly to broadcast update and upgrades. And by becoming Ko-Fi members, you actually get exclusive access to member-only servers, as well as unique content. And even when we have interviews coming up with the players, you can have questions suggested to collaborate with us. So please join today. The links will be in the chat. You can go donate to our Ko-Fi, and we'll see you for game number 2 of